that has been following me. So in this day, I am thankful to the prime creator of all things, that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity, that I will use it for the greater good. Welcome, my survivors of the journey, to this podcast that aims to inspire and motivate, that you continue to have joy, peace of mind, and to your success. Welcome again in my podcast, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. My name is Nichel Anderson. This will be episode 10 for season 1, 2017 to 2018. Where today, starting a new year, we are going to focus on the topic, why investing in your team is vital towards success. Okay? We're going to find out effective ways to apply towards employees that requires a type of nourishment. I often mention that in some of my social media tweets, where I'm talking about everybody needs some type of nourishment that benefits everyone, especially in the workplace, because it can be very chaotic, it can be very challenging, and people that are in the power to make things happen, so I'm talking about management now, sometimes lack the focus to really look at investing in their employees, in their work teams, right? So if you're a manager or a leader, this podcast show is vital for your overall success, especially if you want to be a prestige leader. Now, I mentioned that in episode 4 of my first season here, doing this podcast, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success, where prestige leadership is where you want to be, especially if you want to be in authority position where you are directing people, leading people, managing people. You want to be considered as a prestige leader, because anything else is just mediocre. Okay, you want people to be able to follow you, to believe in you, trust in you. That's value. It's like gold in a way, because people will back you longer than anybody that did not respect a particular leader. But when you are a prestige leader, you learn the behaviors that's needed, that doesn't serve yourself only. Okay, instead you serve in a way that you are committed to the company objective, or even if this is not considered like the workplace, this might be like a personal project and you have people in your team that you are working with to produce a particular result or some type of production or what have you. So when you focus on investing in your team, it means, number one, you will create lower employees or project team members. 2, you will reduce high unhealthy turnovers, meaning that it will not be so many people trying to run out the door. Number 3, you will reduce negative reviews of your company or the project itself. If you're listening and you're in the entertainment business or any other type of function, maybe you're a part of some group or what have you that's conducting a project, you're still working with other people as the leader. So in this episode 10, I will focus on leadership responsibility and to how to improve that skill set in connecting with employees that matter. All right, so starting a new year in the right direction to your behavior patterns can produce the leader that you seek to be or aim to be, or just if you got it going on and you are already a prestige leader, it doesn't help to listen to some new ideas that you can decide to add to your portfolio in your leadership objective. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so just to recap, we're going to talk about why investing in your team is vital towards your success, provide some motivational business strategies, and then of course we're going to move into the second segment of the show, which I like to bring up towards the end, which is your task to dusk to dawn. That's where I give you advice and strategy. Let's go ahead and start with the first part of this segment of this show, episode 10. Why investing in your team is vital towards success. Basically, what that means is that leadership, this is point number one, leadership must take the initiative to be engaged with their team. Now, how can you do that? Where the main point is by understanding the company culture is actually the message being delivered to the workforce, to the team members of the team. For example, if the company culture or project nature is more on the dictatorial side of one-sidedness, the employees would tend to feel their worth is not valued. Now, in my very first episode, when I started my podcast, Surviving Your Journey to Success here, because I have two podcasts. But this one right here, Surviving Your Journey to Success, I stated that for that show topic, focus on defining your value and how important that is as the employee or even as the project team member. Okay, so as a leader in a higher position of authority, you must as well demonstrate the other people that's a part of the workforce their value. Now, we might have heard it before, but it doesn't hurt to hear it again and again and again, because when a person has power, it comes a very great responsibility. Too much is given, too much is expected. At the end of the day, we have to look at it in a way that you're not looking through a prism of light that is only returning back on you. You have to be able to understand and monitor and see what the needs are of your team. So the things to avoid, especially if you're doing any type of survey with your workforce, with your work team, that indicate that morale is low, meaning they don't feel very appreciative, or they don't feel that their opinions matter or something like that. You want to at least address it in a way that you're explaining why we can't do this and we can't do that. This is the call to do it. Okay, so a good indicator also is a very high turnover. If you have a high turnover, meaning that you're basically spending more time hiring people to fill positions because people are leaving, it's time to stop and analyze what happened to the value, what happened to the investment of the team. Now, some organizations have money, I guess, to just keep that going, but think of the mental stress of the people that has to continue to fill the spot when we could have avoided that by valuing the team, by investing in them. And I'm telling you, most of the time, most people don't want a lot. You get those that want to take the bank and an island. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. But for the most part, if you invest in your team, I'm going to give you some strategies for that. It doesn't take that much, and they stay with you to the end, and that saves you long term. And the people that has to continue to fill these positions, because so many people are leaving so fast before you could even turn a buck, reduce that stress for them, so they don't end up leaving. Okay, so the high turnover is a huge indicator that leadership has to stop. You have to look at the choices that you have made. You have to look at, have you been investing enough? Thinking, well, I'm paying them, that's enough. At the end of the day, you know what you need to do, just to kind of bring that back around to my point, is if you have a high turnover, that means people don't care about the money. Think about that. When it gets to that point of a high turnover, money doesn't matter. Their value matters. Okay? How they feel that their position in the company is appreciated matters. Everything else doesn't. Okay? They'll take a chance and take something lower. Okay? Get me on this to be able to have a peace of mind. So, like I mentioned, definitely means that something is majorly wrong. Number one reason that the leadership is not investing in the things needed. So you want to avoid A, not fixing the issues proposed by your team, from processes that are outdated or causes more disorganization, which leads to frustration. Now, I'm going to step to a side on that. When you have indicated that your work team, all of them are frustrated, that's a big sign too. The key is when work teams express frustration, that is a huge indicator to take note of the emotional obstacle that they are feeling, to quickly remedy it. Produce a lot of prestige value in your employees will increase your prestige leadership. So what I mean is that you have to listen to the obstacles that they're saying that they're having, especially if it's repetitive being brought up. You got to find a solution to it. All right, let's take a quick music break. We will be right back. Let's return back to the podcast of surviving your journey. Everybody is not going to put up with the headache if something that is outdated, doesn't work anymore, it causes more problems. You don't have to deal with it because you're just looking at the final numbers or the end result. But if they're saying that this helps them more better, really consider to fixing it. B, making statements of mistrust, but still want the team to trust you, respect you, and do more than 100% of the job performance. No, that's not going to work. I have seen where some companies will communicate to their employees and blatantly blame them or say something in a way that they just don't trust them. Like, I know that everybody is doing this. We are watching you. I mean, is this, you got to think professional. If it's in the corporate world or if you're having some type of project outside of your work life or what have you, and you in a leader position, you have to communicate it in the way that it's very general, right? But you're not really, you're talking about a particular issue. It has come to our attention about A, B, and C, and we appreciate everyone take a look at that. That's fine. But when you blankly say, I know every single one of you is doing this, or what I feel that everybody is doing A, and I'm looking for B, so you have to correct that. Or you might even say correct that. You might say, I'm just monitoring everybody because I don't trust anybody. You don't want to give the impression that you don't trust everybody. You want to give the impression that it has come to my attention. There's nothing I need to pull to the side and to this and this and this and talk to you that way. Of course, if it gets to the problem that out of my initial broad general bringing this up and it doesn't improve and I see it, then I will pull that particular person to the side. But I just want to let everybody know that this is the reason why we have to do this. So if everybody could just take a look in a sense, you basically just want to say like this. You want to be able to give them the appreciation that you appreciate what they do, but this is the issue that is popping up and I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Bam. That's what you want to say. Anything else is going to be in an accusing way or assuming or just blatant out saying you're guilty does not go well. Okay. So you want to be able to take a look at that. Now, let's move on to number 2. This is wisdom. Okay, you have the power to make things happen in your role as a manager, especially as a senior level manager. Okay, do more than the ordinary. Do something extraordinary in a sense that your prestige leadership will rise, that people will flock to you. Okay. You will have low turnovers. And I don't care how much money an organization have, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's costing you a lot. It's costing you a lot. And not only we talk about the finances of that, the mental stress of the people that has to I said it earlier in this show, will repeat it. You have to think of them, and you have to think of the next phase. Okay, we got to train some more people, and then we got a learning curve, and then you might have lost some good people, or you might end up getting some bad people. Then you got to go through all that stress of firing them, letting them go. So you have to be able to hold on to the good people that you have, and you know the good ones. You know the ones that's all you know. So it's time to take a look at that and invest in that, right? So learn to motivate on levels that provides rewards. If not promotions, something that's meaningful to everybody. They basically just want to feel appreciated. That equals the value that I mentioned in my very first episode of my show that I started here. So sometimes saying thank you is just not enough. Okay, do something different. Okay, send a thank you card. Do it by handwriting, your own handwriting. I know someone, just to jump in right there, that took the time to send that to me and mail it to me. Okay, I still got that card today. Okay, it was no money in it. It was no teddy bear in it. It wasn't no present, no jewelry, none of that. It was just, it made me feel that person really cared and appreciated what I contributed to this particular project. And the project itself, it wasn't even a paid gig. It was something I was doing it. I wanted to really help out and do. The person that was over sent me a card that was over the event and sent me a thank you card to appreciate me being a speaker there, participating in that event. And I thought that was just so thoughtful and so appreciative. So you see, it's just the little things that you do a little extra, in a sense that it's very meaningful. So also you can call the person up and just have a quick conversation. I know you're busy, but just plan to take 2 or 3 minutes. I'm telling you, your value of a prestige leader will increase. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you, I worked at a major corporation years back, and I decided to actually leave to another company. They had offered me, this particular package and this opportunity, so I considered to go ahead and try it and to take that offer. Anyhow, this is how you know that, number one, that what you're doing on the employee side, I'm going to jump on that side, and you have invested yourself into the company, and you have showed how you are a hard worker and so forth. And management, they do monitor that. Trust me, they do. And anyhow, the day that I left, and they was having some type of event for me, so long type of event, 2 VPs of that department came to my area to wish me well. One of them was the head one. She personally put me to the side and told me, if it doesn't work out, you give me a call. Don't forget that. Of course I would not forget that. But long story short, I went there. I did not like it. The culture there, oh my God, I did not like it. So I remember what she said, and I called her up because she gave me her number. She said you could call me, and I called her back, and I just said, I swear, I think it was like less than 2 minutes. It was no, well, that this. You know what that lady told me? That vice president told me, not a problem. I contact HR, and you can come back in at this position, and I got a raise. And before the day was over with, I got a call from HR to ask me when will I be in to sign the updated HR paperwork. So what I'm saying to you is that, of course, it's a two-way street. Okay, the person's in the leadership, has their responsibility to invest in the team, and the people on the team has to invest in the team, and you show a consistency in that behavior. When you do that, you build value. It's no way that VP would have done that if she didn't see the work that I have contributed right before. Okay, and it's no way that she would have pulled strings. You just don't walk into no company like that after you left and get a raise and get a position and get to talk to a vice president directly, and they be able to work it out like that, and you bypass the whole process of being rehired. You don't, that doesn't happen all the time, and when it does, it shows that you have invested right in the right way, and vice versa. The leadership has invested by showing you that not only I appreciated what you have done for the company, I didn't want you to leave, but you did, and to just know that you're welcome to come back, because I'm determined to make sure we don't have any high turnovers or what have you. You know what I mean? I'm willing to do what I need to do to show you I can make it happen. And remember what I said in the beginning of this episode. I said when you're in that position of power, you can pull some strings. You could do some things. You'd be surprised if you just kind of speak up in a way and think of some creative things of what you can do. Don't look as if you have to give everybody a car or a house. Let's be realistic. At the end of the day, we have to either make a profit or we have to get that project done, okay? But at the end of the day, you could do something extraordinary. And it just that was another learning moment for me, that if I invest and do the things that are required and show that I'm all in, right? You don't get a lot of them most of the time. Maybe it's my mission is to flip those that are still struggling in the sense of how they can influence their team and be fair to their team and invest in their team, and not think that it's all about me because I got the power and I done made it this in this level and I don't really need, you should just be happy because I'm giving you a paycheck. And throw away that mindset and flip it, because people are struggling in a sense emotionally in the workplace because they stuck there for a certain amount of hours and can't really do nothing about it. And then they have all this other stuff in their personal lives too. And it's not fair. And you have to give back to what has been given to you. And that story that I told you, just thinking about it now makes me smile, because I'm looking at it even more deeper years now, and it just showed that that's the way to go. All right, so the bottom line is that the power of investing in your team, and then your team will invest in you. And I just gave you a good example of what happened to me years ago in that particular scenario, because it is a two-way street. So stop taking them for granted that works for you because you have the power. Wisdom is that power doesn't last long, especially in the corporate world. So you have to learn to adapt to bring about new things and engage in your team that is working their minds to the highest degree to deliver the quality and productivity that you seek. If you have people on your team, they mostly, if not all the time, they do excellent work. It's got to be something that they are good at, because if not, they're already on the list for you to let them go, right? But everybody can say something what they're good at that you do have on the team and you want to keep them. So you could also consider to create a grid of how you can award employees at different intervals. And I'm telling you, this is gold in the bank. Okay, it shows that you are investing in them. Okay, you are investing in them to know that you value them. That's important. Value them. If you ask someone that decided to leave, so that goes into the high turnover bucket. Okay, of course, if it's a lot, and I guarantee you they will mention about being valued, the top 3 reasons, or describe to you their experience of why they're leaving. Pretty much comes back to how they were feeling being valued at the company. Okay, management didn't invest in the team. That is an ongoing process. You have to continue to do that. You don't just do it quarterly and you give little certificates and that's it. You got to constantly find ways, creative ways, and you can keep it simple. And they don't want to be disrespected. So you can't do no disrespectful email blaming everybody, thinking I know everybody didn't did it. I didn't got the fingerprints, or I'm finna call somebody to invest. You don't want to do all of that. So you don't play the blame game. All right. Not doing things that show that you don't trust them. Okay. You want to be professional. You want to have prestige leadership. You want to invest in your team. If anything you take away from this show, invest in your team. They will follow you to the end of the earth if you do it right. Okay. All right. So let's move on towards the end of this segment, which is your task to dusk to dawn. Number one, go ahead and create a grid of rewards for all employees. If you still got, your employees there, which of course you have to, everybody got something that they're good at. Find a way that you can award that if they're still there, not marked to that you got to get ready and let them go. Of course, if that won't be on the table. So have something that they can look forward to. Now, a good idea, you can create a mentorship within the company, or your project framework is a good way to have something that doesn't necessarily deal with any salary increases. Okay, we're not trying to expand, and some companies are working with this, some companies are working with that, and I know you have all these other resources that require those fundings. So at the end of the day, we're not talking about money. Like I said, that particular person was over that event, and that was just an event that I really wanted to participate in, because I want really to help out, and she didn't have to do that, and she was the lead on that project, and so she just took the time to send me that handwritten card. So heck, that's great. And so instead, a great way to have a way, if you do that mentorship, you can promote those that shows that they're very knowledgeable in certain areas. They could be a mentor, a particular aspect of that. So it also helping with training, helping with team morale. I mean, it's just a good thing. So try to think about something like that. That would give the person or those people value in that, if you want to go that way. Now, the other thing is to create a feedback and suggestions from employees. Sometimes you just run out of ideas. It's okay. You have a lot on your plate. So you can offer like a feedback type suggestion box and have employees anonymously, companies like, well, okay, use this online type survey. We're not going to, look into it and find out who says what. Okay, I like old school. Okay. Just go ahead and have like a box or something that people can actually fill out and and I know they have like Survey Monkey. They have something like that.com that you can probably use, which is a third party. They seem very good, but you could just do it old school. That way it is anonymous. I think more people are more honest with you when they know for sure. There's no way that you're going to find out what they really think. You could try it like that. Also consider doing a face-to-face time if possible, to ask about what are the problems that they see and how you can help. And then lastly, your takeaway is to be nice. Don't blame if you don't have any evidence, or if you do have some evidence, go to that person directly. Okay? Don't put on a blast for everyone to know, look, I don't trust none of you here. Come on, let's be professional. Think how you would feel if the shoe was on the other foot. And if people that are listening to that are not in the United States, that's a metaphor where we say here in America, as if it happened to you, how would you feel? So that's what I meant by think how you would feel if the shoe was on the other foot. This is your motivational quote takeaway. Be professional, be a prestige leader, meaning be prestige leadership. And don't forget to subscribe to my podcast and share as well. My podcast homepage is Nichel Anderson, the number 7.podbean.com. So that's N as in Nicholas, Ichel, Anderson, the number 7.podbean.com. Also, my show is on iTunes. You can download it straight from the iTunes page. Also, you can go to my homepage on Podbean, connect and download iTunes from there as well. Follow me on social media My official Twitter account is twitter.com/Nichel Anderson. Facebook, so that's facebook.com/Nichel Anderson fan page. And also visit my official website, which is nichelanderson.com. That's where you can learn more about the things that I do, my courses that I have, and as well as webinars at times that I do. And also you can find out any new updates of projects that I aim to create and produce. But mainly you can find out more information about my courses that I have, my classes, and sometimes future webinars that I do for free. This show notes will be provided for you that will list any information to read up on when you are able to do so, and any website links if mentioned in this broadcast. You can as well purchase my Corporate America Surviving Your Journey Choice Success book on Amazon, as well as my other book, Mitzrayim, a memoir. It is also available on Amazon.com, as well as any other book retailer that you prefer. All right, just to recap, some information on my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey, Choice Success. Regular new broadcasts are Mondays by 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Guest interviews are pre-announced as soon as confirmed. Now, if you want to be a guest speaker on my show that listeners can gain insight, be motivated, and encouraged about your message or product or service that you have that can benefit others, please complete a guest speaker application form. You can locate that on my Podbean homepage that houses my audio podcast. Okay, so that's nichelanderson7.podbean.com. Also, if you go to my official website, nichelanderson.com, and click on podcast, you will see at the top menu to the right, if you own a PC, if you're on a PC or a Mac. If you're on a mobile phone, then of course you have to kind of maneuver a different way to see that menu, but you will see podcast show, and then that way you can see that link that will take you to complete the guest speaker application form. And I do get that and look that over. To get a response back that you are approved can take around about 48 to 72 hours, maybe longer depending on when you have submitted it, like on the weekend. Now, if you have any questions to answer during my podcast, you can send it to info@nichelanderson.com, or you can direct message me on Twitter or Facebook. Now, I'm also on Skype. Okay, so my Skype ID is nichel.anderson. Okay, so this concludes my podcast show today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Please follow me on my social media and subscribe for future podcast airings of my show. My Twitter account is twitter.com/Nichel Anderson. Again, facebook.com/Nichel Anderson fan page. And also you can visit my official website, nichelanderson.com. There are also premium podcasts priced and provided conveniently online for easy access on Nichel Anderson 7 podbean.com, where it houses all of my podcast episodes. You can find that option for premium podcasts where you will have access to get more of my content instead of the free episodes that I roll out weekly. And also I am planning on releasing short stories. I used to do that as well when I had that opportunity at sweet101.com as the columnist for the Harlem Renaissance. In between my research and my articles, I started like short stories, and people seem to enjoy those stories. And also that can tie into my other creative projects that I have going on as well, besides my courses that I have on my website, which is Dawn of New Day and Mole. So I am planning to do short stories from those types of productions and even new ones as well. And so I will basically have that type of content specifically for the premium paid podcast. Okay, so I plan on to have specifically for that type of literary creative side of me content available in the premium paid podcast. Okay. So please visit the show notes as well for each of my podcasts. It is located on the homepage. So, concluding my podcast today, I would like to leave you with my message for you. Be you that strengthens and inspires your ability to be strong in your journey endeavor. It's a good thing towards your mental peace and joy, always to your success.